Welcome to the Tutoring Writing module. You're going to need some paper and a pen or pencil for this module. After all, we will be talking about writing. Writing is a word that often instills anxiety in many people, but writing is a very important form of communication. So, how do you feel about writing? What do you like about writing? What don't you like about writing? Most of our learners think that writing is a single act. You put down words on paper, and that is the end of it. But writing is actually a process which requires patience and persistence. A successful piece of writing is much more than the final product, or words on a piece of paper. It is a process that consists of 3 stages: free writing, composing, and revising. And the more we write, the more comfortable and confident we become with the process. Let's see what this process looks and feels like. When our learners need to write, the first question that usually comes to mind is, how do I get started? Well, there are many ways to do this, but we're going to focus here on free writing. The goal here is to get your ideas down on paper and see where they take you. Free writing means writing non-stop about something for a set period of time. Don't stop writing, not even for a second. If your mind goes blank, keep writing anything until another idea comes to you. Keep in mind that you are not writing a rough draft, you are simply writing down ideas as fast as they come to you. Later on in the process, you will have time to figure out which ideas you want to use. Once you get used to free writing, you will see that you can write. Free writing gives your learners the opportunity to learn to write by writing. There are other ways to get your learners started, and you'll hear about those at the in-person orientation. Let's do some free writing so you can see what it might feel like for your learner. This assignment is different from the math and reading. This one will be in 3 parts. Grab your paper and pen or pencil and write down all your answers to the question, why are you interested in being a volunteer tutor? Remember to just write and keep on writing. Remember, the time needs to be limited, so we'll pause here for 30 seconds to let you do your free writing. Okay, did you get a few ideas down? Now let's see what comes next in the writing process. Now you have your ideas on paper, so it's time to start organizing your thoughts and ideas so you can compose your written message. Visualize building a house from the ground up. You need to start with a foundation, then put up the frame, and finally put on a roof. A house needs a good foundation, and so does a good paragraph. A good foundation is a topic sentence or first sentence. It needs to be clear and specific and state the main idea of the paragraph. It sets the tone for what is to follow. You go back to your free writing and pick out what will make a good, strong first sentence. Once you have a solid foundation, it is time to start constructing the frame. The frame of a good paragraph is constructed of sentences that support, illustrate, or explain the main idea. You go back to your free writing and pick out only the information that relates closely to your first sentence. Write sentences using this information. Then, organize your sentences into a paragraph which has unity and coherence. Finally, you need a nice solid roof on your house. To wrap up your paragraph, just rewrite your first sentence in different words to remind your readers what your paragraph was about. This kind of process will really help your learners see that they can indeed write, and they learn it by doing it, just like you're going to do now. Grab your free writing because it is time to start working on constructing your house. Oops, I mean your paragraph. First of all, look over what you wrote. Can you come up with a good topic sentence to get started? We'll give you 30 seconds, or you can pause the video while you do this. You wouldn't actually time your learner like this. We're just doing so for our purposes here. Now, from your free writing, pick out some details to support your main idea and write them as sentences. Again, we'll pause for 30 seconds, or you can pause the video. Now you can add any new ideas that come to mind if you need more details. We'll pause again for 30 seconds. And finally, put the roof on your house. Write a closing sentence that says pretty much the same thing as your first sentence. We'll give you 30 seconds, or you can pause the video. So, you have a house, but it probably isn't quite done yet. Now it is time to put on the finishing touches. We're talking about checking over your grammar, your spelling, and your punctuation, and maybe move some words around or change some words. Notice that this is the last step. Many of our learners think this is the first step. The process shows them that there is much more to writing than these finishing touches. Please hang on to your draft, and when it is done, look over it and put on your own finishing touches. Check out your grammar, spelling, and punctuation, and change any wording to improve your message. You have just put yourself in the shoes of an adult who is learning to write better by writing. See how the process flowed from free writing to composing to revising? Please bring your finished product, including your free writing and your draft, to the in-person orientation. Don't worry, we won't ask you to share it with anyone, but we will be talking about the process and how you felt as a learner as you went through it. Now that you have put yourself in the shoes of a VLP learner, let's think about how you as a tutor would approach a real learner's writing. This is a paragraph from a real VLP learner. I'll read it for you. I'm very excited about my goals. I think that if I try hard, all my dreams come true. I want to improve my self-esteem and be able to help my kids in school. I'm going to put all my effort to continue my education. Let's see how a tutor would comment on this paragraph to set the stage for then working on it with the learner. Notice how the tutor will comment first on the message, then on the organization, and last on the grammar, spelling, and punctuation.
So Jan, I see you want to write about your goals in your family.
Yes, I mean going to school 4 nights a week and working all day long, and then I have the kids. It's hard, but I'm going to do it.
I know you can do it. Let's talk a little bit about this paragraph now. I really understand what you wanted to say, and I get from this that you have specific goals and you're going to work really hard to achieve them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at your topic. You said you wanted to talk about your goals and your family. I see a lot more about your goals than about your family in this paragraph, and sometimes it's easier when you're just starting out to write to focus on just one topic. So let's concentrate just on your goals. I bet you could come up with a lot more than just these sentences. What do you think?
Probably.
All right, if you were thinking about only your goals, what else would you want to say? You write here about your dream. What's your biggest dream?
I want to go to college and then be a nurse.
Well, good for you. We need a lot of good nurses. It would be great to say that here. It would give a lot more information about your goals. You also say you want to help your kids with schoolwork. Maybe you could say what kind of schoolwork it is and how is that going to relate to your goals?
Well, the more I study and read, and the more I can help them.
And that would be great to add too.
So I didn't write enough, right?
Well, what you wrote was great, but it really made me, as the reader, want more information. I want to learn more about your goals. And remember, whoever reads what you write is reading it to learn more information. So let's give them this information. Why don't you write down some of these ideas that we just talked about? Then we can look and see what you want to add to the paragraph to make it better.
Okay.
All right, so now we have some more ideas to include. How would you start this all out? What's the one big idea you want to get across with all these details?
My goals are very important to me, and I'm not going to give up on them.
Perfect start. I like that. What are some of the things you're going to write now about that sentence? These are going to be the details of your paragraph.
My dream is go to college and be a nurse, so I have to start hard. I want to help my kids with their schoolwork. And the more I study, the more I know, and the more I know, the more I can help them. I want to give my kids a good life, and I need an education for that. It's very difficult to work, go to school, and raise kids at the same time, but I'm not going to give up.
That's great, Jen. These are some great ideas. Let's try to put them in order now so they're going to make sense in the paragraph. Which one should come after the first sentence, do you think?
My last sentence, I want to be, I'm going to put all my effort to continue my education so that all my dreams come true.
That's a great conclusion sentence. Let's go back now and look at a few things, and this is called the revision part of your paragraph. First, we're going to work on the spelling. Then we're going to look some at the grammar, and then we'll talk about the punctuation. But you did a great job on your punctuation. So I want you to read it again and see if you'd make any spelling corrections.
I'm terrible at spelling.
Well, a lot of us are. Don't feel bad.
Since we learn to write by writing, the important thing is to just get your learner writing. It can be about anything, really. Here are some ideas. It helps to start by asking them to write about a topic they are very interested in, because they will have more to say about something like that. Remember how in the reading module we talked about how to extend learning by writing? They can write about what they've read, do some additional research on the topic, or take a point of view and write about that. You can suggest topics, and the reading and writing workbooks we have also have lots of activities for writing. Keep the learner writing. Here are some questions our tutors frequently ask us. Should I correct every grammar mistake? It's best to target one or two of the more frequent mistakes. Pick out all the mistakes in that category and then provide some general rules to correct it, followed up by some exercises on that specific grammar topic. If your learner is working on writing and needs grammar work, your VLP specialist will provide you with workbooks that will have explanations and exercises. Don't forget, too, about all the free online resources on our online tutor exchange. If everything, communication, process, and revising, needs work, where do I start? Remember how the tutor worked with the learner in the video? They started with the main idea the learner wanted to communicate and worked from there. The important thing to remember when tutoring writing is that it is first and foremost a way to communicate a message. So you want to start with that. But you'll get a very good idea of what your learner needs when you get the learning recommendations that your VLP specialist has written for that specific learner. What if I'm not comfortable tutoring writing? Don't worry, VLP won't ask you to tutor anything that you aren't comfortable with. Remember, you'll know what the learner needs before you even accept the tutoring assignment, and you can say yes or no. And finally, please give this some thought. So many of our learners are like this, and they are convinced that they cannot write. We'll talk about this a bit at the in-person orientation. You might want to write down your thoughts to bring with you. We'll pause here for 30 seconds. Congratulations! You've completed the writing module. Now you can go back to your paragraph and do some of those finishing touches. Your next step is the closing module. You're almost finished. Keep your paper and pen handy for jotting down your thoughts. Please contact us if you have any questions or concerns.